So the video you're about to watch is a presentation I did with my friend's reselling group talking about getting started with OA sourcing, the basics, and what I really like to do to optimize and predictably and consistently spend over $100,000 a month on profitable items to flip on Amazon. If you're brand new to the channel, welcome. My name's Miles. I'm a 23-year-old full-time 7-figure Amazon seller, about 1.8 million in sales the last 12 months, and we're also super excited to announce that I am now a part owner of SellerAmp. So if you haven't already gotten on SellerAmp, make sure you get a free trial link in the description below, and I'm so excited to join the team there and help grow it and market a tool that I use currently in my Amazon business every single day and have for several months. Definitely go check that out, and let's get right in the presentation.
All right, well, with that said, we have special guest Flips for Miles. Do you care to share your story for people that don't know you, how you got started, where you're at currently?
Oh, yeah. So basically, I learned about Amazon right around 3 years ago, and then I was working as but I was an unpaid intern, but I was living away from home, it's like college, whatever. So 2019, right? And I was living away from home, like pretty much by myself for a summer, and I was like, damn, I should probably start doing that Amazon stuff, right? And so I tried it, but the thing was, ungating information, like no one knew how, or no one told me. I don't think anyone else knew how to do it back in the day. Luckily now it's easy to get and everything, so it's super easy to get ungates done. But back in the day, I had no idea how to, so I was just doing books, and it kind of made sense to do because I was in college at the time. So I started summer 2019. I had been reselling shoes on like StockX and Go prior to that, but nothing really significant. But so I started that mid 2019, did that all through the fall. I actually ended up switching from doing the StockX stuff and just focused on Amazon that whole fall and worked really, really hard and didn't end up really making much money at all. Like I ended up making less than I was making previously doing the shoes, but I always kind of thought Amazon was the wave. And then I was posting on social media the whole time, like all that stuff. Same way I post frequently these days. It was the same thing 3 years ago. So I documented the whole thing, and that's what I was able to meet some different guys. And that was big. That eventually plays into what I'll get to soon. So we all know what hit early 2020. That shut down the whole buck operation. I found Money Twitter conveniently right around that time, like I know some other of us did as well. And the whole craze during that was building like a social media marketing agency, right? Selling a service, right? Instead of like flipping products the way I had previously done. So ended up, because the Amazon operation was shut down, so I only thought I could sell books because ungating, right? You need an invoice. I didn't know how to get an invoice. No one knew, or no one told me, right? So didn't know how to do that. So I couldn't really do much on Amazon the whole time. So I pretty much quit Amazon mid 2020 and was really working on the agency stuff and selling shoes on the side on StockX and Goat and such. And then early 2021, I was watching a Gary Vee video, and he was like, you better be responding to all your comments, right? And I hadn't been responding to all my comments. And I was like, Gary, I'm gonna message everyone that comments. I'm not just gonna respond to them. So I slid in the DMs of everyone that commented on that post, and I was like, hey, thanks for commenting or whatever. And I had just learned how to get ungating done that week prior. So I was like, maybe I'll start doing this Amazon stuff again. Conveniently, that ended up being who's now one of my best friends to do a podcast with, this dude named Garrett, who ended up really putting me on Amazon wise. So it ended up being like a little nucleus of us that met mid-February of 2021. And then we talked every single day since then, Zoom every night for like 6 months after that. And we all hit 100K a month on Amazon within like 2 months of each other. And then now combined as a group, we've probably done like 8 to 10 mil since then in sales. And I'm like 1.8 of that. So right around 2 mil in lifetime sales, probably hit a mil year to date next month, or maybe early July, one of those. But hopefully should do like 2.5-ish this year. And I do strictly online arbitrage. So I do that, pretty much just Amazon, and then I post 3 YouTube videos a week, do some podcasts, spend way too much time on Twitter bantering back and forth with Samy, and do some other stuff. And then just recently became a partner at one of the tools I ended up using for online arbitrage called SellerAmp, which is, I'm gonna show some of that today, I think. But that's what I use. I don't have any virtual assistants. I have some that help me out with content, but I do all the sourcing myself, and then use prep centers, tax-free states, and everything like that. So I do 100% online arbitrage, no retail, no wholesale, maybe some wholesale eventually. I think OA caps around like 300 to 400K a month in terms of with like you deal with order cancels at scale. It's kind of a pain. And I'm kind of getting that point. So I wouldn't be surprised if I start mixing in some wholesale SKUs in the next few months. But yeah, just loving Amazon online arbitrage. It's a perfect blend of you can move with speed. You don't have to deal with wholesale lead times. And while, in my opinion, RA isn't super scalable, OA is, in a sense that it takes just as much time to order 50 of an item as it does 10, as long as you don't deal with order cancels and everything. And then there's also some geo arbitrage around it, in that I'm located in Pennsylvania, which is sales tax advantaged, in that on shoes and clothing, sales tax isn't charged in PA, and I know in a lot of states it is. So I'm able to buy some stuff cheaper than other people, and that's kind of a competitive advantage I have. And I really like to try and like educate and show people there's other competitive advantages that exist in terms of like your location. You could be near a bunch of outlets or something, or for wholesale, if you live near a big city, there's probably some distribution stuff you can take advantage of. So I'm a big fan of really scaling arbitrage, whether it be like OA, wholesale, right? I see a ton of opportunity in this stuff. The first item I sold online was in like 2011. I actually did a bunch of Lego reselling in 2011 to 2016. And in 2014, a dude was like, he had all these really nice shoes. And I was like, dude, like, how are you getting this? This is one of my buddies from the Lego stuff. And he was like, dude, I've been flipping shoes. And I was like, just like we're doing with Legos? He was like, yeah, dude, put me on, and then took $500 from me. I'm happy the way it ended up. That was the best $500 I ever spent that he scammed me on. And eventually one thing led to another, and kind of circled back in terms of I eventually learned the Amazon stuff, and it's kind of been history then. But yeah, big fan of arbitrage, big fan of social media and all the stuff that can come up from it. But yeah, excited to share some of that stuff with you guys tonight.
So you said you're on track to 2 to 2.5 million. How much time are you spending either a day or a week sourcing?
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of sourcing manually, because you can find a lot of stuff with longevity there when you're sourcing on stuff that maybe there's variations, so it's complicated, there's multiple listings of the same product, different stuff like that and everything. So in terms of sourcing, I do some of the prep myself. I do a lot to Prep Center now though, and hopefully going to be even more then, but definitely like 30 minutes to an hour a day, definitely. And then I'm also like really well networked. So like if I find something, like I'm sharing it with the crew and vice versa. So like that's helped a lot over the year in terms of pumping inventory spend. But yeah, definitely right. The easiest way is just getting like a daily spend goal and everything, reverse engineering your cost of goods sold to your revenue, finding out what you need to spend every day to then hit your revenue goals, which, assuming you're at the profitability, which you can control most of that with repricing and everything. That you need to be, you can really make it easy for yourself to reverse engineer where you're getting to. But yeah, like 30 minutes to an hour a day of buying. But right, it was way more a year ago when I was new, right? You know, it's a whole bunch of work to get good at it. So I mean, way more a year ago, and now I'm like pretty dialed in and pretty good at it now, but absolutely wasn't the case at the start.
So it's just strictly Amazon right now?
Yeah, just Amazon. And I'm pretty comfortable there in that I see Amazon as like a whole ecosystem. Like I do the personal brand, the software stuff, got a course and everything kind of around it. So me growing the Amazon business, it's kind of a flywheel in that I get better at explaining stuff. So my content gets better, and then people like that more. I do it more, sell more items on Amazon. It's just kind of a whole flywheel effect. So yeah, just Amazon right now though. I'm definitely not opposed to eBay. Like typically Amazon guys are pretty elitist, and then, we see you doing great on eBay and everything. I know that works really well for you, and that, I wouldn't know anything about that, but I'm sure I could learn to, and that there's some similarities if I ever needed to. But yeah, just Amazon for now.
Definitely. So let's go ahead and hand over the share to you, and let's see what's going on.
Talk some sourcing. Yeah, so we can do couple minutes of some live sourcing. I really like doing this. I think I have some unconventional methods. So my favorite way of finding stuff is called basically like manual reverse sourcing, right? And so I'm just going to move this keep out of here. So basically you find a product that is arbitrageable, right? And that Amazon's not selling it, and there's over 3 FBA sellers. So if there's over 3 FBA sellers, we know it's probably not private label, right? So that might be something we want to go after in terms of finding it to then resell, right? And Amazon, as of, I think it changed a few years ago, but the nice thing is you can see inside people's stores, so you can see their catalog and what else they're moving, right? So starting off with a great value product here, we know this is arbitrageable, and that looking at the Keepo, we can see that there's a bunch of people selling it, right? On the offers, we got 44 on here. And because we also can see that Amazon isn't on it, right? Because Great Value is a Walmart private label product. So this is something clearly that there's arbitrage sellers on, which is the people we want to be competing with and the people who we can potentially reverse source to find items from them. Right. And so previously I just used to do it manually through Keepa and everything. But now we have the tool SellerAmp, which I'm a part of, which will show how to use and everything. But I also I'm a big fan of really digging deep into Keepa on stuff. So I'd love to show a little bit of that as well, basically. So within Keepa, immediately on an item, I want to see who's making money on it, right? Who's been on it for a while and everything, and really get a sense of how the listing's performing. And to do that, go to data, buy box statistics, and we can see the buy box percentage people are getting, right? As well as their average price, their stock count, although most people have order limits on stuff, so I don't really look at the stock count and everything. And you can see whether they're FBA or not. A good rule of thumb is if there's anyone that has a decent percent of the buy box that's merchant fulfilled, your stuff will fly FBA. And I'm also a huge fan of merchant fulfilling as well, which is another conversation. I think way more people should do that. And people think they're above it, but you're not above an extra $500 profit a day at certain seasonal time. You're not. Anyone listening, you probably aren't. And I definitely am not. You know what I mean? So I'm a big fan of merchant fulfilling as well. And you can really easily validate if a product is merchant fulfillable by looking in the buy box statistics here and getting a vibe of whether MF sellers are getting it or not. And if someone's getting it MF, you can definitely get it FBA, and you can see their review counts right here. Makes perfect sense that most of the people with large buy box share have a bunch of reviews, and we can show that if they're selling it, right, and they've been getting a lot of the buy box share and for potentially a while, right, we can see 90, 80, 365 day time periods, right? So these guys over 180 days, this guy has where's the oh, my bad. Yeah, okay. Yeah, review count. We can see what percentage of the buy box they've had over time. There we go. I had it deselected right there or something. So we can see what percentage of the buy box share they've had over time. And we can see if we hop into offers here when they were first seen on the product, right? Hopping in and seeing when they were first seen on it, it gives us a good indication of how that product's performed for them. And obviously, right, the first seen, it doesn't mean they were in stock the whole time, but if they have a good percent of the buy box share over time, they're probably replenishing it. And that's the type of product I want to sell. Because when you sell stuff you can replenish, there's a compound effect in that 2 months down the line, right, that item you might be able to repurchase, right? And 4 months down the line, different stuff like that. That's why I'm a fan of taking way more time to find stuff, but taking time to find stuff that potentially has longevity. And we can see from the Keepa, right? So this is, I mean, there's a ton of competition here, but like on this period, right? This August 28th to December 10th, the price was really, really stable. It varied by only like 50 cents, right? And obviously the ranks high, probably wouldn't buy this, but we can see that people are making money here because the price didn't change, right? If the price isn't changing a lot, it means people are making money, because if they weren't making money, the price would naturally go down the way people reprice and everything like that. So if I was looking at this in December, I could see that Keepa was rock solid for 4 months, right? Depending on what the cost of this, like who knows, I'll show how to potentially go find it, right? We can see that product potentially did well. And while this was stable for 4 months in a row, the offer count went up and down, and we can see that people are making money on it. And there's a good chance, looking at this buy box statistics, right, over 180 days, some of these guys with big reviews were getting a bunch of the buy box share, so they probably had longevity and potentially replenished this item. And that's the type of stuff I want to sell. In terms of then going out and looking for stuff, right, and I wish this was a variation listing because I have a good rant on that too. But look, oh yeah, is that a question? Oh, okay, never mind. My bad. Okay, yeah, and then using SellerAmp. So this is our tool. We come here and we can immediately just click right in. And so, I mean, back in the day, had to just manually click in through Keepa, and then it was a mess. Like just doing it like this, old school. Click in here, and you can't see the ranks, you can't see the Keepas. But using SellerAmp here, you can click in and immediately see their Keepa. Or see the Keepa on all the products. You can brand filter specific. You can category filter specific. So I'm a fan of getting good at specific categories, right? Because then you get used to your competition and everything. Just kind of showing how I operate. So in terms of opening people up on Keepa, or in terms of SellerAmp on stores to potentially look through, I like between like 50 and 500 reviews. And obviously some listings you have to go higher or whatever. But that, like, over thousands of reviews, they're probably going to be too big, where they'll have too many ASINs that it's probably going to be a pain to look through. But if they're like under 500 or like over 50, we can see that they're making money, right? So this guy has 3 reviews, but he actually has a decent amount of ASINs. So we can go look after some of these and pull up like one more that has a decent amount of reviews. So using SellerAmp, which is our tool, we can come in and we can immediately see what types of products they're selling, you know, their ASIN count, their review count. And some of these guys are going to have like, okay, not going to click out of any of these, but I'm a big fan of this stuff because you can then come in and filter brand specific. Like, so say you're someone that oftentimes buy from Walmart, right? Probably great value. So we can come in and filter here. If we want to pull up the entire Amazon listing, we can just click Amazon right here and it pops it up there. And the way I like to go ahead and find products from here is just doing it manually and clicking into each of them, because I'm only looking up stuff that I have a good idea is already going to be good, because I can see the Keepa here, because I can see the BSR, because I can see the buy box price, the max cost based on metrics I add in on SellerAmp, right? And so typically I won't look up anything that's under like $6 or sorry, under a $20 buy box, just because I need price flexibility, right? If I'm gonna be on something for a while. But like here, right, Walmart, I'm not going to click to open it just because it's probably going to show my location in terms of the Walmart. But $1.74 times 6, whatever that ends up being, it's going to be around, not quite in terms of what would make sense on this. Like, I don't try not to do public math, but so 180 times 6 would be like, I don't know, around 10 or something. But so a $10 cost, that doesn't make sense here and everything. But who knows when someone got this, right? This is something else that's been actually pretty stable and everything, but we can see, maybe not. So the offer count's up a lot as of the past few months, but I guess that's kind of a long time period. But that's the game, is just coming and finding people who have comparable storefronts to you, and then coming in and trying to find their items profitably. So I'm just going to get into some more of that. Damn, this person loves bundles. So some of the other stuff we looked in, I'll kind of move on to another one here. So this person, we can see they're heavy on Equate, which shows heavy on Equate and great value. They're probably a Walmart seller, right? So come in here, just click into Equate, and now you can see all their Equate products. Not going to look up anything that's under a $20 buy box, just because I need that price flexibility, me personally. But then again, we can see that this guy has a bunch of ratings, right? He has a whole bunch more reviews than I have, and he's been on stuff, right? Like, let's see when he first originally got on this product, and there's variations, which is nice because I can do my variation spiel here. So come in, right? So he has and the keep. Whoa, I've never seen a Keepa like this. Oh, it's a brand new listing. Interesting. I've literally never seen a Keepa like that. I'm gonna see if some of these other ones are like this. Well, weird that it didn't show like that. Oh, it must have been the variation. Here, let me pull up this other one. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so a much more normal Keepa here, right? So decently low competition on this one, but weird price action. I'd probably stay away from this. But who are we looking at here? So Cosmic Toys. If we come into data and buy box statistics, we can see what percentage of the buy box share he's had over time. And it's looking like he must have just gotten on this, which if we hop into offers, we can validate. Cause. So wow, okay, so he was first seen 9 months ago. So this might be like a dead listing or something, but he was on it 9 months ago and he's still on it. So there's a decent chance he replenished it potentially, and he has a bunch of reviews, so he's making a bunch of money. So some of the other stuff in here might be good. So I'm going to find stuff that fits my criteria and take a look at some of these. 15, don't like 24. Okay, I like that. Bundle, a little operational drag there that I don't love. But Equate, slightly different label right there. We want that. It's an interesting type of product. Coming in here, buy box, lower. Yeah, so these are actually really low ASP here. I like a higher ASP, average sale price item, like typically like 40, 50 is kind of the sweet spot, because that prices out a lot of lower people that are just buying like individual stuff, right? Everyone wants to buy from Walmart. Everyone wants to buy cheap items that there's low commitment to. I want to be buying what other people aren't, because then I'm going to be able to make money that other people won't over the long term. Let's check out some of these great value stuff. He might, okay, so he's on a bunch of bundles as well. And you guys can see that like the last two guys we looked at were very similar sellers, right? They had a lot of the same type of catalog. And if they have reviews and if they're each carrying these products, they're making money. So clearly they're getting them somewhere profitably. And the game is to get through enough stuff that you can potentially, right, find it and sell it for a long time. So here it goes. This is another person. They have a decent review count. They have a whole bunch of ASINs, but we can see here all this stuff is very arbitrageable and that Amazon's not on a lot of it. We can see they're briefly on this one here. It looks like some. Here we go. So this person's probably doing arbitrage. This one I'm not looking up because Amazon's on it. We can see the orange right there coming down here. So now the game is just hopping in Google Shopping, and that right, this is the stuff other people won't do because it's hard and it takes time. But when you find an item like this, there's lifetime value to it, and potentially because it was hard to find, a lot of other people aren't going to go ahead and find it, right? It's not the type of thing that's showing up in like tactical arbitrage shirts, although some of them I'm sure do, but you don't get any of the coupon benefits, right? Looking up some of these potentially, right? If we come here, and there's probably some coupons on some of these sites, right? So what do we want to pay on this? We want to pay 22, right? So 120 here. This might end up being profitable right here. So 23, assuming this is the right size, which it looks like it is not. We want, yeah, so 120 capsule, not 60. And this, okay, I do definitely want to point this out though. There's so much money in this type of stuff as well. The email coupons, you can set up what's called a catch-all, which will basically aggregate all the emails you put into a domain. So I could do like miles1 at flipsformilesamazon.com, miles2, miles3, miles123, miles12, miles321. And I could get unlimited email coupons, and that's an incredible benefit to having a catch-all set up. It's at the 120, 120, 29 here, but potentially there was a coupon. So with the email coupon, if that works, 4% Rakuten, beautiful. 29 times 20, that's going to make it, I think, with that 20% off, which there was that email coupon that popped up on the site. So assuming that works, here a 24 cost, it makes it just barely profitable, not quite where it fits the metrics, but it's close, right? And there's a chance it was over time, which at 40 it makes sense, right? But it's actually been pretty steady here, and that somewhere they're buying this for like 20, because at 20 it's, you know, a decent ROI here, and it's selling like crazy. The BSR is really low, the estimated sales are really high. So clearly somewhere these guys are paying like 20 for this, and who knows, right? This could be wholesale, but he had a lot of arbitrageable brands. There's a decent chance he is doing arbitrage. So let's check out the rest of this Google Shopping. We want to pay like 20 for this. 60 for 30. 120 a 2-pack. Yeah, so clearly somewhere they're getting this. It could be retail arbitrage, who knows? But either way, we're naturally hunting through stuff that we know is profitable. And this stuff takes a while too, right? It doesn't scale, but the compounding of doing it every day for a while does scale. And when you have, you know, some buddies that do it as well. So come here. So the rank's a little high on this, but the Keepa looks decent. And the rank was a lot lower at one point, but looks like the pricing went up a little bit here. What do we want to pay? We want to pay like 13. Not gonna happen. Check out ranks too high on here. And who knows, right? Some of these guys, naturally, they're not going to be making money, but these guys that have a bunch of reviews, they clearly are, because they wouldn't sell a bunch of products if they weren't. Here, so Amazon's on this stuff, so I'm not gonna look it up. I'll keep moving through here. Load more and check out. It's good. See if he has any of these stuff. This is kind of more so my jam. 48 and this variations. I also want to talk on the variations. So this is, I actually made a whole YouTube about this the other day. So kind of understanding variations, there's so much money if you take the time to understand variations, because it's the kind of thing that trips beginners up. So come in here in Keepa. So on a listing that has variations, we can see for like one of those other ones, the variations didn't show because there weren't variations. But here you can go into ratings and you can filter it top to bottom. And you can assume that if this ASIN is getting 5% of the ratings, it's probably getting around 5% of the sales. And that's how you can estimate which moves the quickest. And they're all going to have their own individual Keepa chart. So I'm much more of a fan of looking at the each individual Keepa chart and everything. But you can get the vibe of different stuff by looking there. And I like filtering for the variations, because then you can really easily see the price action by coming and scrolling down here and seeing any irregularities, like anything over 80. Like 75 is going to be an irregularity. Yeah, so an 8 right here for 75. I've bought these for $40 in the past, which at a 75 sale price at 40, 75, right? Bang, that's a 40% ROI. It's not bad. Just keep going with the demonstration a little more in terms of how I'm using SellerAmp. So here, these look really high for a basic running shoe like this. So trying to pay like anything under 70 here. which if that's that, let's see if they have the black version here. This site has a 10% email coupon. So this is close. It's not quite the same product, I don't think, but we might be able to have variations here. So black and white here and here, that's the same product. So using that 10% email coupon, it's going to come down to 63. And depending on what these are moving for, if we look here, 88, so 63, that's not going to work for this variation. The rank's also high, but the competition's low. Coming and going to filter here and then scroll down by pricing. So a 10.5 right here is moving at 110. Do they have that? They do. Okay. 10.5, right? Not crazy volume on here. The rank's high, but the volume, like you would make money on this, right? At a 63 cost, 115 sale price, and bang, there we go. So it's a 48% ROI, and potentially, right? This is the kind of thing where it's not really, it's on a little bit of a sale, but this might be around for a while. You know what I mean? In terms of just chilling here, right? The 10% email coupon's been around for over a year on there. And this is a relatively new listing. The volume could pick up on this and everything. But another reason why I like variations is because there's like 30 ASINs per listing, right? So if you find one color of these shoes good, you're probably gonna be able to buy a bunch of sizes, and potentially, right, a 12 also makes sense. A 13 definitely makes sense out of 120. Cost 1363, and the volume's way less than I'd like on this, only 161 sales a month, but you'd make money, especially too, right? Because if you look in the buy box stats, you could toss this up merchant fulfilled and risk free and just set it and forget it. When it sells, you ship it, because we can see that over the 180 days, the like pretty much the lifespan of this listing, this guy's gotten 10% of the buy box share, merchant fulfilled, and this other guy 3% merchant fulfilled. And who knows, right? That could only be 5 sales, but that's $100 profit. Actually, a lot more than $100 profit on this. I think this was like 30 profit a piece. So does this make sense? Kind of how I'm operating on this stuff?
Definitely.
Yeah, and it's kind of just like, you know, taking a little bit more time on stuff, but really taking the time and doing the work that other people won't. Like we can see here, this guy is 80% of the buy box share, right? You know, and this isn't a high volume listing, right? But that could be, right, $500 profit right there. And then you figure how many other of these listings does he have, right? We can pull him up on SellerAmp and see what else he's moving. Let me, where was discounted brand? It might not be currently on. It might have sold out. Distribution. Yeah, we'll check out one of these other guys. So 439. We can see when they first got on it to see if they've potentially been replanning it. So 3 months ago, 4 months ago, 2 months ago, right? So there's a decent chance there's been some longevity on this for these guys. So then the rule of thumb is, right, you can literally start this product, go and get after it, reverse sourcing the same way I've been showing in that regard. So that's kind of my thesis in terms of the reverse sourcing stuff, right? Just nice and lean, partnering up SellerAmp and Keepa, really able to see the power of reverse sourcing and taking the time to really dig through stuff, right? And eventually the nice thing is VAs could be leveraged for a lot of this stuff. We're at least trying to, a lot of our students have VAs and everything now. We're trying to influence the VA market in terms of getting more people used to this stuff. People will come, they'll know how to use Keepa, they'll know how to use SellerAmp, so you can screen record yourself doing this for a few hours, give them specific ASINs to start off of, you know, frameworks and everything, and eventually technically kind of remove yourself in a way that if you can learn how to do this and make some money with it, you can then get a VA on for, you know, a few bucks an hour to help outsource and additionally find you some more listings. Because let's say you pay a VA full time, right? Maybe $500 a month. They find you a couple purchasable leads a day. That's going to be a big ROI there. Even if they bring you back $2,000 profit, you end up selling through. That's a 5x return on your money there, and you didn't have to spend the time to find the products. So I'm a big fan of this kind of stuff because it's what a lot of other people won't do, and it could potentially bring some outsized returns if you get good at it, which obviously takes time, just like anything else.
I got one question. I heard you talk about the catch-all for the coupon. Now, like I do the same thing with, you know, multiple emails, but I caught that you said that you do it through a website. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So you just have a bunch of email addresses?
Yeah, like I have like 50 email addresses. Dude, that's last name 1
I'm
through 50.
gonna save you so much time. So it's called a catch-all. So CATCHALL. I'll put it in the chat as well. And basically, it's an auto redirect. So you buy a domain through, like, you say, it could be westcoastdeals.com, whatever. Yeah. And then you set it up so anything at that domain gets redirected to a single email. So you could put in whatever you want and it all goes there. And it's a really old school sneaker botting method of doing stuff, but bro, it makes it so easy, because then if you ever get an inauthentic complaint on Amazon, you know that you just put the order number, which you have in your spreadsheet, right, into that search, and on that email, no matter what like address you use, which could be Samy 123 ABCD, whatever, is right going to be in there, and you can pull that order confirmation for the inauthentic complaint. You got it. I'm gonna save you. So I saved you so much time.
Awesome.
That.
I'm glad I caught that, because like I heard you say the catch-all coupon. I'm like, yeah, I do that. But when you said a website, I was like,
dude.
All right, he might have something I don't know.
Yeah, so you can, I mean, right, and obviously some sites it's a little slower with and everything, but yeah, I've had the same one fired up for over a year, $6 a month with Google domains, and it's, I mean, makes me a couple thousand in profit a month off finesses like that. And that's the kind of thing, right? The novice seller has no idea what that is. They don't want to spend a bunch of time creating new emails, or they do like you and they put in the work too, but they could be doing it so much easier. Yeah,
definitely. So let's open up to some questions. You guys can either type them in the chat or just unmute yourself.
I got one. So that the tool that you're using for SellerAmp, is it using API, or how is it pulling in information?
Yeah, through Keepa.
Through Keepa, okay.
Yeah. So SellerAmp's actually even cheaper than Keepa, but they partner up really well, and it just works through there. I'm not super technical, but I'm pretty sure that it partners up with Keepa to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I didn't even know about it. And I was doing this stuff like 12 months ago, just manually, and it was terrible, right? Because I had to click into each product to see what was good with it, instead of just immediately seeing it. If I wanted to Google something, I had to copy and paste it into Google, and that ended up being a couple extra clicks, and it just really simplifies the process.
All right, any other questions?
I know you got something for me.
I see Matt ready.
Yeah, he took the.
He's usually like this, but like today he seems a little calm. I think it's the Bud Light.
It was the 3-hour video conference that wiped me out earlier today.
Okay.
No, so honestly, like, no questions. It was all like, it was good stuff. I think the only thing I didn't know from what Miles had said was the like last scene and how long they've been on there.
Oh, I didn't even know about that till like a month or two ago, I think. But yeah.
So I never scrolled that far. The advice that I want to give from the outside perspective, anybody that's watching this, I'm sure that all the people that have done their videos on, Miles presents a lot of information really quick.
True.
So please go back and rewatch the video, because like you got Miles, wonderfully done. You guys got probably like 6 hours of information in like a 30-minute span. So I've always, your brain works on a very, very good level. It's always impressive.
Yeah, well, I mean, I explain this stuff every day, so I get good and quick, unfortunately, at explaining it. But yeah, the last scene, or not necessarily the last scene, the first scene, right? And who knows if they were in stock the whole time, right? I don't trust the in-stock counts on Keepa, because anything you're selling a lot of, you put a max order quantity of, I assume, or I personally, and most people do, right? But it's just getting the vibe of seeing when they were first originally on it. You can say, damn, that guy was on that 24 months ago, right? And he has 1,000 reviews. He's making a bunch of money, and he had 13% of the buy box share over the last year. Think in my head, however many sales, damn, that was $1,000 profit just on that one listing, most likely.
Yep.
So it really simplifies the process once you get going with it, and do it every day for months.
All right, any other questions? And if you're shy, you can type it in the chat, and I'll go ahead and read it.
I got a question for you, Sam.
All right.
Yeah. So how are you sourcing the eBay? Like, how are you sourcing the hats and stuff like that? This stuff intrigues me because it's so foreign to me.
All online drops and a lot of eBay to eBay flips.
Dude, that's so gangster. I did not expect you to say the eBay to eBay. But so are you just buying stuff that there's bad listings? Like they don't have the photos on point, they don't have the reviews on point?
I honestly think it's people that just went out and bought drops and don't realize that, when there's like 9 to 10 different sizes on a hat, their capital isn't where it should be. They just need to recoup their money and be done with it, where I don't mind sitting 60 days on something that I know I'm going to make 30, 40 bucks on.
Yeah. And you put in the time to learn that and get the bankroll to it. And that's the same way with some of the variation stuff I'm talking about in Keeper, right? It's complexities other people won't deal with that us have been in the game for a while. We can take the time to understand and everything and really exploit and take advantage of and make some good money off of.
Yeah, I truly think it's just with, eBay, it's just people don't have that capital to sit on things. So they're like, okay, this didn't move in a month. Let me just throw it in an auction. There's over 3,500 new era auctions a day on eBay. 3,500.
So that's over $1 million a year then. That's crazy.
So there's plenty out there to source.
Damn. Is in front of you the desk you always post on Twitter?
Yep.
I've never seen the backdrop of it. I love it. Yeah, you got the cool
unlisted inventory that I'm trying to get through.
I feel it. Cool. Well, yeah. Thank you guys definitely for having me on. It's a lot of fun and big fan of all.
Can you give us some info on SellerAmp if anyone's interested? Maybe a promo code if you want to throw in the chat.
Yeah. So unfortunately not. I can talk to the founder in terms of that. But yeah, definitely. So flips for miles. It's see my name right here.
You want to throw everything in the chat?
Yes. Yeah. So flips for miles, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, way too often, bantering with Sam. In there, 3 YouTube videos a week, Buy Box Bandits podcast, which we have been procrastinating getting Sam on, but we will be doing. I hope so. So yeah, podcast once a week, YouTube videos 3 times a week, tweets all the time. Happy to answer any DMs, questions. Got some different stuff in terms of that we offer. Probably the largest free Amazon Discord out there. I don't know, but yeah, lots of good stuff. And happy to connect with any of you guys off the call if you're interested.
Awesome. Miles, I got one real quick.
Sure.
Do you plan on going into Walmart at all? I know we talked about eBay, but
so I don't like that stuff just because everyone wants to buy from there. Right. I want to be dealing with complexities, right? Everyone can get sales tax exempt on Walmart. I don't want to be buying what everyone can get sales tax exempt on. I want those competitive advantages.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that perspective.
Yeah. And that's something that was I picked up over time that was kind of makes sense, right? But I never, a year ago, I would have had no idea how to articulaate that, but I was doing it the whole time.
So let me ask this, because I find a lot of particular items. So there's certain things that obviously is just red restricted on Amazon. And I've actually found that you can sell a lot of those on Walmart. Do you think that would be?
Oh, selling on Walmart. Oh,
yeah, selling.
Buying.
No, selling.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've just I battle with, as entrepreneurs, we're always looking for the next thing. And I've just really for the first time in my life, and I'm pretty young or whatever, I've done the same thing every day for the last year and it's worked so well. So I'm just trying not to let myself get detoured off that.
How old are you?
I was going to say, you don't have to say pretty young. You're very young.
Yeah, 23.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, I just, do my thing.
I got kids your age.
Yeah, I got kids older than you.
And what's interesting is I didn't know you guys were on the same team. I just thought you guys had similar names because I've been following both of you guys for years, but I didn't know you guys were on the same team. So that's literally learned that right when the Zoom call started. So pretty cool stuff. But yeah, it's a good time. Appreciate all you guys.